Hello everyone. This video is dedicated to the 10 largest Christian nations in the world. Religion and its influence on people has always been an important part of their culture and identity. And Christianity, being the largest religion in the world, has also had a profound impact on many nations. Christianity is the most widespread religion in the world when you consider all of its strands. This faith has had a huge impact on the course of world history, and still influences the way millions of people, even those who call themselves atheists, think and value. In this video, we will look at the 10 largest Christian nations. We'll be treated to some amazing facts and interesting stories, as well as some surprising statistics. From Africa to Europe, from Asia to the Americas, there are a variety of peoples who have embraced Christianity and have been able to keep that faith alive to this day. We will learn about the cultural traditions that have emerged under the influence of Christianity, and delve into the variety of beliefs and customs that are practiced in these countries. 10th place, English. The English are an ethnic group living in England. It is an administrative part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The inhabitants of England make up the vast majority of the population of Great Britain. English traditions and culture have a long history. The total number of people who consider themselves English is approximately 50,000. It should be noted, however, that residents of other countries, such as the United States, Canada, Australia, and a few others, are of ethnic English descent. This means that their ancestors came from Great Britain. There are about 120 million of them. They have assimilated with the local population and taken other citizenships. But still, our video is about people. And so far, the process of forming Canadians or Australians has not even begun. As for American English, they have been calling themselves Americans for a long time and consider themselves part of the newly formed American people. But many experts still argue about whether there is such a people as Americans. Therefore, the number of people who still call themselves English is only 90 million. Christianity came to the island from early times and had a huge impact on the culture, society, and politics of England. The first mention of Christianity in England dates back to the 3rd century, when a Christian community began to form in the Roman province of Britain. One of the key periods in the history of English Christianity was the 16th century, when King Henry VIII separated the Church of England from the Roman Catholic Church. This act, known as the Act of Supremacy, was the beginning of the Anglican religion, which spread throughout the country. However, England's religious spectrum also had a large percentage of Catholic believers, which later led to conflict and religious persecution. Today, Christianity remains a major religion in England, and English people have a variety of denominational affiliations. Christianity is practiced by more than 65% of the English, or about 50 million people. About 35% are non-believers. Poles are the indigenous people of Poland. It is a country in Eastern Europe. The Polish people belong to the group of Western Slavs. It includes a number of ethnic groups that are descendants of ancient Slavic tribes. Close to it are Slovaks, Czechs, Lusatians. Holidays and customs of Poles are similar to those of Russians. There are also many similarities in the way of life. At present, the majority of Poles profess Catholicism and Orthodoxy. This religion was introduced by force in the 10th century. Peasants revolted, burned churches, expelled priests. Troops were sent to suppress them. Gradually, Christian customs were mixed with pagan rites. Now, along with Christian holidays, a lot of old Slavic holidays are celebrated. Poles are quite a numerous people. All its representatives number 57,000 people. More than 50 million Poles follow Christianity. In 8th place are the Italians. Italians are known around the world as great fashionistas and lovers of cooking. They have traveled quite a long way of education and managed to reach great heights. Now, Italy is known for technology, cars, science. Inventions of Italians sometimes surpass even the most daring fantasies. Christianity in Italy has an ancient and rich history that spans more than 2,000 years. Italy is considered one of the birthplaces of this great religion, beginning with the arrival of the Apostle Peter in Rome. From the earliest times, Christianity has played an important role in shaping Italy's culture and society. Italy is home to Vatican City, a mini-state and the center of the Catholic world. Although Catholicism is the most common denomination in the country, there are other Christian denominations such as Orthodoxy, Protestantism, and Evangelicalism. Italy is home to 63 million Italians. Large Italian minorities live in the United States, 3 million, but these are Italians who still consider themselves Italians. In Brazil, live about 30 million, but only 5% do not consider themselves part of the Brazilian people. as well as Italians live in Argentina, France, Croatia, Monaco, San Marino, Slovenia, Belgium, Germany. There are about 89 million Italians in the world, 64 million of whom are Christians. The Chinese, yeah. You didn't hear that. The Middle Kingdom is home to one of the largest Christian communities in the world. The Chinese remain the most populous people on the planet. They are considered one of the hardest working, most collectivist and wisest people in the world. Christianity came to China around the 7th century, when the first missionaries arrived in the Celestial Empire. China is mainly inhabited by followers of Orthodoxy and Catholicism. The former first appeared in Chinese lands during the time of the Golden Horde. Then Russian Orthodox military commanders served at the court of Khanbalik, today's Beijing. Since the end of the 16th century, Orthodox Christians have lived permanently in China. The first Catholics appeared in China in the 7th century, but this trend spread only in the 19th century after the end of the Opium Wars, a series of conflicts in Chinese territories between Western countries and the Qing dynasty. Today in China, Catholicism is practiced by more than 50 million people, and more than 5,000 churches have been opened on the territory of the country. According to statistics, the number of Christians in modern China is more than 100 million people, although according to official data, there are 65 million. Filipinos are a group of related tribes inhabiting the Philippine archipelago, or in political terms, the Republic of the Philippines, which territorially overlap almost completely. The total number is about 108 million people, including the population of the Republic of the Philippines, 105 million people. The main Philippine tribes are the Visayans, Tagals, Ilocos, and Moros. The population belongs to different anthropological types, mainly the South Mongoloid type with a Caucasoid component, or the mixed Mongoloid-Australoid type. The Ita belong to the Australoid type. Religiously, about 86% are Catholic and 10% are Muslim. The population of the southwestern islands is organized in a special Muslim region. Christianity is mixed with local beliefs, resulting in popular syncretic cults, such as the local Filipino Aglipayan Church. The number of Christians in the Philippine population is about 89 million. In 5th place are the Germans. You could talk about the Germans for hours. This nation has an incredibly rich history, culture, folklore, and prides itself on its cuisine and science. Their customs are often taken as rules of etiquette, and the German language itself is accepted as an official business language in many countries. The influence of this people on the whole world, and on Europe in particular, is incalculable. Most historians agree on the origin of the German people. Its ancestors were ancient Germanic tribes, including Franks, Saxons, Bavarians. Romanization played an important role in the formation of their culture. In the course of late antiquity and the early Middle Ages, the Germanic peoples gradually became Christianized. By 700 AD, England and France had officially become Christian, and by 1100, Germanic paganism had lost its political influence in Scandinavia. There are 113 million people in the world, of whom 90 million are Christians. Russians. The Russian nation is one of the largest and most important nationalities in the world. With its rich history, diverse culture and traditions, Russians continue to have a significant influence on world culture and science. Russians are one of the most numerous peoples in the world, living not only in Russia but also in other countries. According to various estimates, the total number of Russians in the world reaches 140 million people. Russians are a multi-ethnic people, and as a result, religious affiliation can vary from individual to individual. Traditionally, however, Russians belong to the Orthodox Church. Orthodoxy was established in Kievan Rus in 988, when Prince Vladimir the Red Sun adopted Christianity as the state religion. Since then, Orthodoxy has become an important element of Russian culture and national identity. Today, the Orthodox Church is the most widely practiced religion in Russia. The number of Russian Christians is about 130 million. The Mexican people have not been around for very long, but in their history, they have seen many wars, uprisings, and bloody battles. Modern Mexicans do not resemble their ancestors too much, although many traditions of the past have survived to this day, albeit in slightly modified form. Mexicans combine the traits of European conquerors and ancient Indian tribes, known for their extraordinary culture and bloodthirsty customs. Today, the Mexican nation is the third largest among the peoples of the Western Hemisphere. There are about 150 million Mexicans in the world, with about 120 million living in Mexico itself. The predominant religion is Catholicism. In the past, the Catholic clergy had a tremendous influence on all aspects of Mexicans' daily lives. But today, most Mexicans lead a secular lifestyle. Nevertheless, about 147 million Mexicans consider themselves Christians. Americans. The term American usually refers to the main population of the United States of America. There are also other meanings: inhabitants of both Americas, indigenous people, American Indians. Sometimes it is used to refer to people from Latin American countries. The culture of the United States is a fusion of the traditions of different peoples living in the territory of this state. This country has a strong influence on the life and development of other states. Most scientists assume that Americans is a long-established ethnos with its own culture and traditions. More than 330,000 people live in the United States, of which 280 consider themselves part of the American nation, and about 40,000 of those who live here are not U.S. citizens. The American population is ethnically diverse. This is due to the fact that it is made up of immigrants who settled the country en masse in the 18th century. Americans are a democratic people who have proclaimed complete freedom of religion. There is no official religion. Because of the multinational nature of Americans, there are a large number of faiths with different interpretations. The majority of citizens are Protestants, 46%, and Catholics, 40%. This means that about 196 million Americans are Christians. And the largest Christian nation is the Brazilians, a nation where 99% of the people are true believers. Roughly speaking, it's one of the most religious people in the world. The Brazilians represent the modern population of the country, known for its carnival, Brazil. They cannot be called a homogeneous ethnos, because the Brazilians include the descendants of various tribes, and their external differences are very noticeable. The main part of the inhabitants of Brazil today are the so-called white representatives of the European type, but a considerable percentage of Brazilians represent a mixed type, which appeared as a result of marriages of Spanish and Portuguese conquerors with local inhabitants and African captives. The history of Christianity in Brazil began with the arrival of Portuguese colonizers in the 16th century. The Catholic Church played an important role in missionizing and promoting Christianity among the local population. The first monastic orders, such as the Franciscans and Jesuits, were sent to Brazil to convert the Indians to Christianity. In the 18th century, Christianity became widespread in Brazil, especially among the descendants of Portuguese colonists and Indians who were subjected to a process of evangelization. The Portuguese crown actively supported the Catholic Church and sponsored the construction of churches and cathedrals that symbolized European culture and power. Brazilians are one of the most numerous ethnic groups in the world. The total population is approximately 220 million. About 218 million of them are Christians.